Hello, Eternal Life fans. It's Rowan from the Eternal Life Fan Club. And today we're going to explore the possible reasons why oats might be an extremely good longevity food. And so I was watching a video by Pastor Steven Anderson, and let's watch that right now and we'll talk about it. Okay.
Have dinner together, Mexican food, grandma's favorite. I remember I used to go out to Mexican food with grandma. She really liked to eat at Macayo's. Who's ever been to Macayo's? And she would order not chips and salsa, just salsa. She would just say, give me 3 dishes of salsa.
All right, so what's happening here is they're having a memorial service for Steven Anderson's grandmother. And what's interesting about this is she lived a very long time, and she had really good health, relatively speaking, for being an older lady. And Steven Anderson asked her what was her secret. So let's hear what the secret is of her great longevity, her great longevity secret.
And she wouldn't even mess with the chips. She would just spoon 3 bowls of salsa into her mouth.
All right, so it could be the salsa. That's option 1, why she lives so long. We know tomatoes have their health benefits, the lycopene, and yeah, there's a lot of great things to be said about tomatoes. There's a downside to be said about tomatoes as well. I actually made a video on tomatoes. You can watch that if you want. I'll put a link in the description, but let's go on.
Okay. So that was interesting.
It's probably not the tomatoes, or it's a combination of a lot of things. Usually with these older people who have good health, it's like a perfect storm of great things that just so happen to help them live a long time. So it's probably multi reasons why she lived so long and had good health.
I asked her, I said, what was the secret to how she not only lived a long time, but I remember even in her 80s, she was very sharp. She was healthy, moving around, doing great. She just seemed like the way I'd always remembered her. She just seemed like she didn't even age. And I asked her, what's the secret to getting to this age? And she said, well, I eat oatmeal for breakfast and dinner every day. Oatmeal for breakfast, oatmeal for dinner, and then she would eat lunch, usually at Subway.
Okay, so obviously it's not the Subway that's making her live a long time, but the oats. Now, when I watched this, I was like, whoa, mind blown, because I've seen that so many times. It's a repeating pattern. When you research the centenarians, the people who live a long time, you see again and again, a lot of these people mention oats. And so that's kind of the topic of this video. We're going to explore some of the possible reasons why oats might help you live such a long time. Let's finish this up a little bit, though.
And sometimes she would go to Macayo's and other things, but she would eat a normal lunch, but breakfast and dinner were oatmeal. And I was at her house and watched her make the oatmeal a few times and everything like that. But I told her, I said, well, you must have really honored your father and mother to have lived this long. And she, oh, yeah, I definitely did that. And, whenever she talked about...
Yeah, that's a biblical thing. I guess in the Bible there's somewhere it talks about, like, if you honor your father and mother, your days will be long upon the earth. So there's another hypothetical possibility as well to consider, okay? Honoring your father and mother for longevity. All right, you heard it here. Let's go on. Okay, so the article, this kind of is it matches what Steven Anderson was saying about his grandma. Okay, so the world's oldest family says this breakfast staple is the key to a long life. And what breakfast staple is that? Of course, they're talking about oats. So let's just read this. Could a piping hot bowl of oatmeal be the secret to a really long life? That's what the Donnelly family, who now holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the oldest family, says accounts for their longevity. With a combined age of 1,075 years, the county, blah, 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 I don't even want to say that, Armagh, Ireland family took the title in 2017 and also became the subject of a recent BBC documentary, World's Oldest Family. But a single bowl in the morning isn't enough to do the trick. How much oatmeal do you think they eat? The world's oldest family says that this twice-a-day ritual is the secret to their longevity. So just like Pastor Anderson's grandma, these people have this tradition of eating oatmeal twice a day. That's a lot of oatmeal they're consuming. Let's read a little bit more here. The key is that you need to get your oats at night. Interesting. So there might be something to the timing of this eating of the oats, you know? That's something to consider. Wow, there's 13 siblings here in this family. That's a big family. We've always followed Daddy's habit of that nice warm bite before sleep. All right, so let's go on to explore some reasons why these oats could be helping people live so long. So I have a Wikipedia here. All right, the Wikipedia article on beta-glucan. Okay, so oats are a big source of beta-glucan. They are one of the highest sources of beta-glucan, in fact. And beta-glucans is this long-chain sugar. They call it a polysaccharide. And what it does is it fuels your immune system. It's kind of like food for your immune system. And we know that the immune system is related to longevity. Okay, the people who have the best immune systems, by and large, those are the people that are going to be living the longest. That's just a correlation you're going to find there. Because it's like, what kills people in the end? It could be these like pathogenic organisms and these bacteria and the parasites and the viruses that take people down. They're kind of decomposing people. So you want to have a strong immune system, and beta-glucans is one of the ways to do that. So now beta-glucans, if you don't want to get your beta-glucans from oats, you might try getting your beta-glucans from these mushrooms. So you can see here there's different sources. These mushrooms are another big source of beta-glucans, okay? Reishi, shiitake, chaga, and maitake. Pretty much every mushroom is going to have some amount of beta-glucans. It's kind of a common thing to mushrooms. It's a mushroom thing. The other benefit of mushrooms, I won't get too much deep into this, but mushrooms are also a source of trehalose, which is called the mushroom sugar. So there's some special longevity things going on with mushrooms. Trehalose is something I love as well for longevity. So, all right, let's go on. I don't want this to get too long. Oh, so the other reason that oats might be helping people live longer is it's got a lot of fermentable fiber, and beta-glucans themselves are a source of fermentable fiber, and these fermentable fibers, they're also called resistant starches. So oats are going to really fuel the beneficial bacteria and contribute to having a healthy microbiome in your intestines. And we know that these bacteria in the intestines can create all kinds of substances. These things are like chemists, and they're creating all kinds of neurotransmitters for your brain, your dopamine, and all these brain chemicals that make you feel happy. It's directly related to the health of your microbiome. So something about these oats, it wouldn't surprise me if the reason they're helping people live longer is just because they have great types of fiber for the bacteria in your colon. We have you got to think of it like an inner garden, an ecosystem. We got to be feeding our bacteria. And they'll help us live longer. So let's go on. Another thing I was thinking about why oats might be helping people live longer is the silica content. What people say about silica is that it's very good for anti-aging, in fact, because as you get older, something like our absorption of silica is worse. Silica, from what I hear, is kind of a hard mineral to absorb sometimes. It depends on the form of it. The reason I have a crystal here is because crystal is actually a form of silica. It's actually it's not bioavailable though. It's like a rock. You're not going to absorb if you just, you might absorb a little bit if you put a crystal in your water, but you're not going to get much silica from crystal. But like oats could be one of the more bioavailable forms of silica in the diet. Other sources of silica are like the skins on a tomato or the skins on a bell pepper. It's where you see that shine. The silica creates that shine, that glossy look to those vegetables, or like a cucumber, for instance. The skin of a cucumber is higher in silica. A lot of men actually get most of their silica from beer. And the reason beer would be high in silica is because beer is using grains to ferment into a beer, and those grains, those hulls, are going to have a lot of silica. So like barley, for instance, has a lot of silica. It's actually right up there with oats as being a high source of silica. So this is another possible reason why the oats are making people live longer, the silica content. And silica is also great for like the skin, the hair, everything like that. It's kind of like it contributes to the integrity of the structures of our body, because it's like a hard mineral. And from what I hear, it actually prevents a lot of the damage that happens. It actually mitigates the damage that aluminum causes in the brain. We know the mineral aluminum can contribute to the formation of Alzheimer's disease. Well, silica counterbalances this, and it mitigates a lot of the damage that aluminum is doing. So there's another reason. So the other thing we have to talk about with oats is phytic acid. So oats are a source of phytic acid, and now in the next I'm going to actually get into a reason why this actually might not be such a bad thing. But my friend Becky, who is a nutritional expert, she says that oats are actually like one of the highest sources of phytic acid, especially like very high in phytic acid. So all grains are high in phytic acid. Now, as you can see on the screen here, it says that phytic acid impairs the absorption of iron, zinc, calcium, and more. And so there's processes by which you can like reduce the phytic acid in your oats and other grains, by soaking them and so on. But maybe phytic acid isn't so bad. Maybe it's actually the possible reason why oats are actually making people live long is because they have so much phytic acid. And you go, what? Why would phytic acid help you live longer? Well, it comes down to their ability to chelate iron. All right, check this out. I found this study, and it says that this whole study says that oats chelate iron. And we know that iron toxicity is a huge problem as people get older. Okay, iron is not good for longevity, and it's very hard to detoxify iron out of the body. But oats appears to be one of these rare types of things. Well, phytic acid in general, anything with phytic acid would probably have this effect of being an iron chelator. Now, iron is like a pro-oxidant, so it's like oxidizing your tissues and aging you. It's like iron, how iron is related to rust. Iron rusts easy. Well, you can think of it as iron is rusting our own bodies. You have all this iron, especially it's a problem for men because men don't have a menstrual cycle. They're not getting rid of a lot of this blood. Women at least have the advantage of being able to detoxify a lot of that iron through menstruation, but having a period. But men obviously can't do this, and so men in particular end up getting way too much iron. So phytic acid might be a blessing and a curse. Obviously, it's not good that the phytic acid is binding to zinc. Zinc is good, but if you're getting zinc in other sources, like let's say you're eating some other foods and you're not, that are high in zinc, maybe you can counterbalance it, and it's not the end of the world that you're getting some phytic acid. And the fact that phytic acid is, chelating toxic iron from us. Personally, I'm going to go with this as being possibly one of the biggest reasons why oats are. They do seem to be, if you follow the pattern, oats seem to be one of these good foods for longevity. So, do I eat oats right now? No, I don't. But I'm thinking about it. I'm seriously thinking about it after having put these pieces together and this, seeing this Pastor Anderson's grandma has lived pretty long, and that's pretty inspiring. Obviously, though, we need to live much longer. I think she lived 90 something years old, 97, 96, something like that. But obviously, we need to live much longer than that. That's not good enough. If you're an Eternal Life fan, we need to live forever. But this is a start. This could help us live forever because, we don't know when the technology is going to come to help us live longer. And, or what I say, technology, any kind of discovery, even from nature, just some substance in nature, some elixir that can help us live longer and live indefinitely, live forever. We don't know when we're going to figure that out. So we want to live as long as possible so that we're alive whenever we do figure it out. When I'm going to try to figure it out. I hope you're trying to figure it out. And it's kind of the purpose of the Eternal Life Fan Club, is to kind of brainstorm and how to beat death. All right. That's it. Thank you. And tell me in the comments if you eat oats, if this has inspired you to eat oats, and just your general thoughts on these possible hypothetical reasons why oats seem to be a longevity food. What do you think? Thank you. And, you might be like, why don't I eat oats? So oats just are not a current thing in my diet. I'm not particularly drawn to them. I don't know. I just, maybe I should. Maybe I should eat oats. I guess one of the downsides, I try to eat a very low carbohydrate diet. So the biggest reason I'm not eating oats right now is because they're very high in carbohydrate, and I want to go for generally a low carbohydrate diet. I'm a fan of being low carb because I think that's good for longevity. That's going to be benefiting my longevity. So with the oats, it's kind of a trade-off because they're very high in carbohydrates, so I wouldn't be able to be in ketosis if I'm eating a meal of oats every morning and oats for dinner. That's going to take me out of ketosis, and that's not my objective at this point. I want to kind of be in ketosis most of the time. I think that's best for longevity from the current research, but I'm still figuring it out. So thank you, and may you live forever.